The Traditional Summer Breakup by Floating Bubble-esque. Chapter 1. Katsuki was in a very fucking bad mood. Izuku hadn't tried to cuddle with him all fucking week, and the few times he tried to initiate some kind of physical affection, Izuku discreetly shoved him away. Did Izuku not love him anymore? Did the only person who could ever see Katsuki as more than a powerful quirk start to hate him? Did he finally figure out that he deserved better than a crass, arrogant, aggressive, brash, moody Katsuki? Izuku was the only one who stuck by Katsuki when they grew up together. And there was even a time when Katsuki tried to push Izuku away because Izuku was just so much better than him and he couldn't handle it. And Izuku still stayed. And when Auntie and Ma intervened to force them to talk to each other, while they did get into a fist fight, Izuku managed to get through to Katsuki. And while therapy helped from there, Izuku seemed to be his one key to sanity after that. Only Izuku understood his complicated feelings about society and quirks, partially because Katsuki tried to force Izuku into the same standard he was forced under. But Izuku, with help from Auntie and Ma and Dad, helped Katsuki build a defense against all that. He had grabbed Katsuki's hand by force and never let go, and he's a much better person for it. He hoped that he helped Izuku become a better person too, particularly with learning to stand up for himself and not people-please others until he died. But now Izuku was avoiding touching him, like he was covered in some kind of weird goo or something. Izuku was a cuddler, and while Katsuki wasn't very physically affectionate on his own, he still loved Izuku's cuddles, because it was Izuku's way of showing love. So when he suddenly stopped doing that, Katsuki fucking panicked. Because he was still very much in love with Izuku, and he couldn't even imagine what he'd do if Izuku suddenly didn't want to be near him anymore. So obviously, Katsuki dealt with this properly and dragged Izuku to the back of Eldara so they could talk about the issue. Except apparently shouting his panic and frustrations at Izuku wasn't the proper way to let Izuku know how he was feeling. But Katsuki was nothing if not a drama gay, and his emotions were always too big for his lungs and words. And he did feel guilty, because Izuku did get upset and yelled back, so Katsuki knew he had done that wrong. But he also just got more upset because Izuku yelled at him about how he did still love Katsuki, but that now he needed a break. Izuku needed a break from Katsuki. Izuku was. Katsuki took a deep breath, but tears still formed at the corners of his eyes. Izuku was breaking up with him. Katsuki stormed off almost immediately and planned to skip class for a few days, unable to not cry at the sight of Izuku. And nobody but Izuku was allowed to see him cry. Well, now he also couldn't let Izuku see him cry, because Izuku broke up with him, and must have been way more fucking okay than he was right now. So now Katsuki was locked in his room, curled up in his blankets and crying out tears that hadn't stopped for an hour. He was crying more than Izuku fucking Midoriya, whose crying habits should call for a re-examination of his quirkless status. And that just made him cry harder. Eventually, after who knows how long had passed, Katsuki heard a faint knock on the door. "Go the fuck away!" he screamed. His voice was insanely hoarse from all the loud sobbing. He was a damn mess. He didn't want anyone to see him like this, and he didn't want to be around a single person unless that person was Izuku asking to be together again. "Katchan, can I come in?" Speak of the fucking devil. He took that back. He didn't want Izuku to see him like this. Fucking embarrassing. "No!" he called out. Quieter than he wanted. His voice already betrayed him. He wanted to see Izuku, and he wanted to cuddle, and he wanted to apologize for yelling at him, and he wanted to hold him, and... "I'm gonna come in anyways." That fucker. He didn't fucking care about giving Katsuki any fucking time to process things. What fucking right did he have to just show up at his house and let himself into his private space after telling him that he didn't want to be in his life anymore? Izuku fucking opened the supposed to be locked door and gasped when he saw Katsuki. Ugh. This was why he said not to fucking come in, damn it. Kat-chan, what's wrong? Izuku fretted, putting his hand on his arm comfortingly. Katsuki should have fucking shoved him off, but embarrassingly, he leaned into the touch because he was fucking addicted to Izuku loving him, and he missed Izuku so damn much. He sniffed and scowled into his pillow, refusing to answer a question that was so fucking obvious. Kat-chan, Izuku scolded, taking his hand back to cross his arms. Katsuki couldn't hold back a whine at the loss. Kat-chan, is this because I said I needed a break from cuddling? Katsuki froze. What? Are you throwing a tantrum because I won't cuddle you? Seriously. You pull me around the school after class to shout at me for not being clingy enough, even though I honestly thought you wouldn't care so much since you don't like being touched much. Now you're throwing a damn tantrum over it. You're too hot to cuddle in this weather, Kat-chan. It literally stopped melting as soon as I get too close. And I love you, I really do. But I need a break from cuddling until it gets a bit cool outside, Kat-chan. I'm gonna die of fucking heat stroke. Izuku sighed, word vomiting his feelings at a very baffled, covered in snot and tears, Katsuki. Katsuki felt so fucking stupid. Izuku didn't break up with him. He was breaking up with cuddling, or some fucking stupid shit like that. He was embarrassed enough of his misunderstanding to ignore the fact that Izuku swore at him, probably as a side effect from dating him. He liked the confidence, but he felt a little bit weird at hearing Izuku say anything that crass. But that was a development to talk about later. Kat-chan? Izuku furrowed his brows at him, and he remembered that he had to reply to Izuku's mini-rant. I thought you were breaking up with me, he mumbled, burying his face in his pillow to avoid looking at his not-actually ex-boyfriend. Izuku burst out laughing. Fucker. Katsuki whacked him in the stomach as he doubled over, cackling over what Katsuki literally felt like was the end of the world a second ago. Stop fucking laughing at me. Okay, Izuku said, settling down and getting his breathing back to normal. He looked at Katsuki with hearts in his eyes, like Katsuki was adorable, and not a fucking angry, spiky, explosive Pomeranian. The fuck are you staring at? I'm ugly right now, stop looking, Katsuki glared. I just think you're sweet, Kat-chan. I know it might be a bit mean, but I'm happy that you were so upset when you thought I broke up with you. What the actual fuck, Izuku? It's just... I would have acted the same way, I think. I'd probably get hospitalized for dehydration with how much I'd be crying. It's nice to know that you love me just as much as I love you, Izuku explained, cupping Katsuki's cheek and staring at him fondly. Katsuki blushed and turned to bury his face back in his pillow. The stupid fucking nerd always knew what to say, damn it. Izuku kissed his hair and leaned down to Katsuki, whispering affirmations of love in his ear, until he turned to peek at Izuku. After a bit, Katsuki had cleaned himself up, and they played Stardew Valley for a while, before eating dinner together with Katsuki's parents. But they still didn't get to fucking cuddle. Damn it. That was the end of chapter 1. Thank you very much for listening. And thank you to Floating Burlesque for letting me podfic this. I really like this one. There is going to be coming a new chapter tomorrow, I think. I apologize very much for the long delay. I've had problems, including losing my job. Yay. I did also get a new mic. I hope the audio quality is better. hopefully. There is a link in the description. Please go give the fic some kudos, it deserves it. And anyways, have a very nice rest of your day.